All right, so let's start the class. So today we want to be looking at commercial arithmetics, and we are studying the following topics: ratio and percentages, profit and loss. Then finally we look at simple and compound interest. Now let's start with ratio. Let's start with ratio. Now we all know that what ratio has this sign, the one we call is this semicolon in English, if I'm correct. That's what we call it. Now, what do we use ratio to do? Now, pay attention. We use ratio to share. Okay, we can use ratio to share. And basically, ratio is used for comparing quantities together. I can use it to compare two quantities. Let me take, for instance, that in a class, for example, let me take, for instance, that was in a class. Now, let's look at this class now. Let me say this class has 20 boys, and we have 50 girls in this class. 20 boys and 50 girls in the class. Now, pay attention. If I want to compare these two, I'll just simply take their ratio. 20 ratio 50. 0 here are common, I'll cancel them out. Therefore, I have 2 ratio 5. In this class, the ratio of boys to girls is 2 ratio 5. Now, the interpretation of this is that for every 2 boys, I'll have 5 girls. That's how we compare between two quantities. So that's what we use ratio to do. We use to compare between two quantities. So this one means that for every 2 girls, for every 2 boys, I have what? 5 girls. That's the meaning of what? Of ratio. So we need to compare between what? 2. Now, and for calculation's sake, wherever you see ratio, take it as division. Take it as division. For example, if I look at this ratio now, ratio m to n. If I look at this ratio m to n, I can write it as m divided by n. So wherever you see ratio, you can take it as division. Just like the way sum means addition, difference means subtraction, product means what? Multiplication. So same. Ratio means what? Means division. And take note of something, guys. Whenever you see m ratio n, it is not the same thing as n ratio n. This ratio is not commutative. That is, if I say 1 ratio 2, don't ever believe 1 ratio 2 is 2 ratio 1. No. It's not the same. They are different ratio. Please take note of that. Okay, that's the interpretation. Next, let's look at something. We can also use ratio to divide quantity. Let me take, for instance, that what a man left a property worth of 500,000 naira. Now, how do we share this 500,000 naira between his children? We'll use the idea of ratio. Now, let me teach us how we use ratio to share. Okay, now pay attention. Let me say I have total quantity Q. That is the total thing I want to share. Let me call that total. Let me call it C. Now, just pay attention. Yeah, now we want to learn how to use ratio to share. Now, let me say I have a total sum of money. Let me say that sum of money is T. And I want to share T in the ratio. That is, we want to divide, or let me say to share T. We want to share what? We want to share T into, let me say, 3 parts. Into 3 parts, A ratio, B ratio, C. Now, that 3 parts are in this ratio, A to B to C. Let me interpret this thing. Let me say I left a total sum of money, C, for 3 children, A, B, and C. Now, what will be A's share? What will be B's share? And what will be C's share? That is what we use ratio to do. That's part of what we use ratio to do. So let's go. How do we share it now? Let's go. A's share, or the first part will be what? Now, pay attention. This is how we do it. Follow the principle. I have a total T to share between the 3 people. What do I do? So know the first person share. Take the first ratio, A, divide it by the total ratio, which is A plus B plus C, Then multiply by the total sum of money that you want to share between them. That's times T. This is what the first person will take. Similarly, the second person share, this share will be what? Take the ratio of B, which is small letter b, the second person. Also
Your
divide
screen
it by
is
the...
not showing, sir.
My screen is not showing. Seriously?
No, sir.
And everyone else see my screen. Who else can see my screen? And everyone see my screen. I'm coming. Let me confirm from
Yeah,
everyone.
it's
So
showing now. It's showing now.
okay, maybe it's your if you can't see them, it should be your network. I'm coming. Let me admit. Okay, let's go. So this is how we share. To know B share, I'll take B's ratio divided by the total ratio, then times the total I want to share. Similarly, to know what C is going to take, C's share will be what? The ratio of C, which is this, divided by the total ratio, then times 4 times T. This is how we use ratio to share between two quantities. That's it. So this second aspect I treated is when we are using what? Ratio to share. And that's the principle. That's the principle. So since we've known the principle, what do? We go ahead in solving problems. We go ahead in solving problems. Okay, so let me re-explain for the last time. So this is what we're trying to learn. The idea of, I told us that wherever we see M ratio N is the same thing as me saying M divided by N. Whenever you are calculating and you see ratio, please take ratio as division. Just like the way sum is addition, difference is subtraction, product is multiplication. Therefore, ratio is division. And take note of these common mistakes. If we have M ratio N, it is not the same as N ratio N. Ratio is not commutative. So 1 ratio 2 is different from 2 ratio 1. Now, this second aspect I'm explaining, we are trying to learn how we use ratio to share. We can use ratio to share quantities. We can use what? Ratio to share what? To share quantities. How do we use this? Just pay attention. Let me say I have a total sum of money, and that sum of money is T. And I want to share this into 3 parts, A, B, and C. Assume that you have a man that left a property that worth 3 million between his 3 children, A, B, and C. How will you share that 3 million between A, B, and C in this ratio? What you are going to do is that what? The first person share, A's share will be what? A's ratio, which is the first one, divided by the total ratio. Total ratio is for you to add everything here together. So A divided by total ratio, then times the total sum of money you want to share between them. And that's it. To know B's share, take B's ratio, which is B, divide it by the total ratio, just like you did for this. Then multiply by the total sum of money. And lastly, C's share is what? Take C's ratio, divide by what? The total, then times the total sum of money you want to share. Now, since we got the concept, let us solve some beautiful problem on ratio. Now, please focus on this problem very well, okay? Examples. Now, observe. I'll start from simple question to tricky question. So let's go. This is the first question. Question 1. They said if A ratio B is equals to 1 ratio 3 and B ratio C is equal to 2 ratio 3, what is A ratio B ratio C? That's our question. They said if A ratio B is 1 ratio 3 and B ratio C is 2 ratio 3, then what's the ratio of everything together? A ratio B ratio C. Now, please look at this. In today's class, I've taken my time to check out most of the most asked questions on that ratio. So please pay maximum attention. That's where we can help ourselves here. So let's go. Now, we have two ways of solving this problem. See the first way. I have A ratio B to be equal to 1 ratio 3. And for the second one, check it out. I have B ratio C to be equal to 2 ratio 3. Now, this one I'm solving now is method 1. Please pay attention, is method 1. Let me help you write method 1. So this is method 1. So now ask us to find A ratio, B ratio C. Now pay attention. I want to ask us a question. If you observe, look at the first ratio, look at the second ratio. Something is common to both of them. Who can unmute yourself and tell us what is common to this and this? What is common to both of them? Anyone?
B.
There's a letter common to both of them. What's that letter?
B.
Exactly, letter B, exactly. Now, since you spotted what is common, remember the ratio of B in the first one is this second one here. And ratio of B in this guy here is this first one here. Because look at B came second here, so this B ratio. B came first here, so this B ratio. Exactly. Now, what you're not going to do is that now, since you spotted the ratio of B, try to make these two numbers the same. Yes. Try to make these two numbers the same. What do you do to make them the same? It's very simple. See, the 2 that you see here, come here and multiply the whole of this ratio by 2. And the 3 that you see here, come down here to multiply the whole of this ratio by 3. I want to try to make the number the same. So whatever B you have here, multiply it here. Whatever B you have here, multiply it here. And let's see what we are going to get. Now observe. What do we now get now? Pay attention. Here we now have, therefore, we now have A ratio B equal to, now, 2 times 1. 2 times 1 will give you what? 2 ratio, 2 times 3. This 2 will multiply the whole of this ratio here. So 2 times 3 will give me what? 6. For the second one, B ratio C will be equal to, this ratio here 3 will multiply the whole of this. So what do I have? 3 times 2 will give me 6. Ratio 3 times 3 will give me what? 9. If you now observe, you see that what? Therefore, how do I now find A ratio B ratio C? How do I find A ratio B ratio C? Now it's not very simple. You observe that the ratio of B are now equal now. The ratio of B are now equal. So therefore, you are going to say A ratio B ratio C. You observe A's ratio is 8, so it's 2. B's ratio is 6, so just pick one of them. Then C's ratio is what? 9. So my answer is 2 ratio 6 ratio 9. That's our answer. Please, who have any question? Is that clear? Is that clear? So that is how we do A ratio B ratio C. That's method 1. As simple as the method is. Most people don't know it. So this is the second method for you. If you don't like this, you will surely like the second one. Now, look at the method 2 here. This method 2. Now, method 2 told us that. Now, look at the I'm going to do that method 2. A ratio B is equals to 1 ratio 3. And if you want to write B ratio C, altogether, okay, no. Hold on. Let me reposition it again. They gave you your question that A ratio B is what? 1 ratio. How I told you. Yes. And if you observe, careful, see what they wanted to find. A ratio B ratio C. That's what they wanted to find. Now, my A ratio B is 1 ratio 3. Again, you want to find A ratio B ratio C. This is it that I want to find. Now, pay attention. So the question told you A ratio B is 1 ratio 3. So come down here and put 1 ratio 3. And secondly, they gave you B ratio C is 2 ratio 3. So B ratio C. So we are going to put under B ratio C. That's 2 ratio what? 2 ratio 3. All together? Exactly. Now, what you're not going to do is this. To get your final answer, you're not going to do something like this. See, you're not going to do something like this. See, this is what you're going to do. Follow my arrow. Use this to multiply this. Use this to multiply this, and use to see, follow the arrow zigzag. Now let's go. 1 times 2 is 2. Ratio 2 times 3 is what? 6. Ratio 3 times 3 is 9. So my answer is what? 2 ratio 6 ratio 9. So whichever way you want, you get the same answer. So use this to multiply this, this, and this. So that's the answer. So either of the two, you understand one of them. So use one of them that you understand. So that's that for that. You always get the notes. And please let me ask a question. I believe we all got the notes yesterday. Yes or yes?
Not yet, sir.
Okay, no problem. You will receive them. All right. So this is what I have. So this is how to solve this question. Okay, that's how to solve that pattern of question. Whenever I see that pattern of question, everything is the same. It's the same. So next one, question 2. Question 2. We have that they ask you to find x if 3 ratio x is equal to 18 ratio 42. Now pay attention to this one. This one is to remind you of the idea that whenever you see ratio, you can write it as division. So 3 ratio x is same as 3 divided by x equal to 18 ratio 42 is same as what? 18 divided by what? 42. So from here, I will cross multiply. Therefore, I'll be having 18 times x is what? 18x equal to 3 times 42. I have 3 times what? 42. I'm looking for x. I will divide both sides by 18. This will cancel this. Therefore, 3 here will give me 1. 3 in 18 will give me what? 6. I mean,
Yes.
then 6 here 1. 6 in 42 is 7. Therefore, my x is equal to 7. Simple question. So that's to remind you of that idea. So that is that for that. So there are some questions that you are going to see. Funny enough, those questions are primary school questions, because I can remember I did question like that in primary school, but you will see it in PCTME, SAT, even some professional exam like SAT, you'll be seeing it there. There are questions like this. And it's simple. Okay, this is the question. They say reduce 65 in the ratio 5:2. As simple as this question is, people always fail. So how do we do it? They ask us to reduce 65 in the ratio 5:2. How will you do it? Now pay attention. You see, the trick to just solve this question, they ask you to reduce it means that you want to lower this guy. So if they ask you to lower this guy, you see this ratio here? You see this ratio that is there? This is how you are going to do it. Since they are asking you to reduce, look for the smallest number in this ratio and place it up. Pay attention. The smallest number, 5:2. The smallest number is 2. So I'll be writing that 2/5. Why did I not write it as 5/2? Assuming this question say increase, then I'll look for the bigger number and place it up 5/2. Don't worry, I'll do the second example. They ask me to reduce 65 in this ratio. So since they're asking for reduction, I'll look for the smallest number, then I'll write it up 2/5, then multiply by 65. 5 here 1. 5 in 65, is that not 13? Yes, 1, yes, 13. So what's 2 times 13? That's what? 26. That's my answer. You can see you have reduced. Okay, look at it. If they say that increase, let me know. If they say increase, okay, let me use the same question. Increase 65 in the ratio 5:2. Same question. What do we do? What do we do? The same way. Bring the big number in that ratio. 5 is bigger. Put it up. Then over 2. Then multiply by 165. Okay, so you just put it above. So that's it. So if you look at this one now, what will it give me? 5 times 65 will give me about, that's 325. If I divide that by 2, I'll be having 162.5. That's it. As simple as that. As simple as that. That's that for that. Please unmute yourself. Are the solving clear so far? Please, I need like 2 people to unmute.
Yes.
Is it clear? Who is talking? Masturo, is that you? Is it clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's Aurelia. Okay. All right. If it's clear, we move. Because these are still every question I'll be solving here today are just simple. Yes. Because polytechnic is not that exam, or entrance exam is not that exam that will look at. It's just like simple thing, you know, but a little bit tricky. Now let's go. Next that I want to be looking at is, let's look at this question. This question 3, I think they said, look at this question. What number must be added? What number must be added to each term of the ratio 11:25? No, let me use 15. 11:15. So that it becomes the ratio 4:8. Like I said, I'll be solving only simple question. I will not solve any art, because art question like theory problem are for those people doing wire going. They are the one that will be writing this question as long as a storybook. But today's question are just easy questions, but a little bit tricky. Now let's go. They said, what number must be added to each term of the ratio 11:15 so that the ratio becomes 4:8? Now pay attention. Initially, I have this guy. They said, what number? I don't even know the number. So let me say, let the number be x. But if you are solving on your exam day, don't write all this. I'm writing it so that whenever you are studying, you know what to do. Just go straight to the point, because no one is checking your working. They say what number, so I said let the number be x. They said this x was added to each term of this ratio. It means that, you know, like the ratio is 11:15. So since x was added to each term, it means I have 11 plus x ratio 15 plus x. That is it. Remember, initially I have 11 to 15. Then that's that what x was now added to each term. I said what number must be added to each of them. And this is the meaning of each of them. That is one, like all of them. That is x added to one, x added to the other. Good. Then I said that one. So it becomes is equal to, so it becomes the ratio 4:8. This is interpretation. Then, when you now interpreted this way successfully, the next thing is that don't forget the idea that ratio means division. Therefore, you have 11 plus x divided by 15 plus x equal to 4 divided by 8. So what do you do? From here, you will cross multiply. So let's go. 8 multiply the whole of this. Now, pay attention. If 8 multiply the whole of this, what do you do? It's very simple. Just say 8 times 11, 88. Plus 8 times x, 8x. Use 8 to multiply everything. Equal to 4. We also multiply everything you have here. Yeah. 4 we also multiply everything you have there. Please don't make mistake of using. Please give me 1 second. No more. Okay. So don't make mistake of, because some people they will say multiply something like this now. Some people that don't know math like me, see what we'll be doing. We now say 4 times x, 4x plus 15. No, you'll be wrong this week. Because this 4 will multiply both of them all together. Just like what we have here. So this 4 multiply this. It also multiply this. Don't forget. So 4 times 15 is what? That's 60. 4 times x is what? 4x. So from there, we will collect like terms and solve the linear equation. Let's go. Oh, yeah. You see, I have 8x here. When plus 4x come to this other side, you have minus 4x, then equal to what I'm having here is 80. If 88 comes to this side, you have a minus 88. All these are what we already know. So 4x equal to 66 minus 88. That will give me what? That's minus 2. What do I have? Okay, that's minus 22. Minus 28, sorry. Minus 28. Minus 20. So from here, what do I do? I'll divide this by 4. Divide this by 4. Then cancel. 4 here, 4 here, 7. S equal minus 7. As simple as that. As simple as that. Okay. Okay. As simple as that. So my answer is what? X equal to what? Minus 7. So as simple as that portion is. Okay. So we are done on ratio. We are done on ratio. So this is where we started it from. So we solve problem. Then to the second one. So that's the end of ratio. So that's the end of the ratio. So make sure you understand the concept. Okay, let me see if I could give you guys a question just to warm up your hands. I'm coming. Let me just. I'm coming. Let me just see some questions. Okay. See the question I have for you. Exercise. Just attempt this. Very, very simple. They said that if X ratio Y is equal to 3 ratio 5 and X equal to 12, find Y. Let's make it interesting to you by giving you options. Students love options very well. Okay, so this classwork. What's the answer?
The answer is A.
C.
Yeah, someone said the answer is C. Who is that person? Please.
Me. Answer C. C. The answer is C.
Okay, that's Matthew. Nice one.
Yes, Matthew C.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Another attempt. My own is that I want everybody to attempt, whether you are right or wrong. Don't worry, we are still learning together. Okay. Yeah.
I said A before.
Monstrous.
Okay, who was that? Who was that? Let me see. I want to try to memorize some names. Mastura, okay.
Vivian. I said A.
Okay, Vivian, okay. Vivian A. Matthew B.
Monstrous.
Okay, C. Ah, wow. So someone chose A, another person chose B, another person chose C. So let me see someone that will choose D. Then to balance. Aisha, they are choosing D.
I choose C.
C. That's Blessing Chioma. Ah, I'm almost knowing the names. Okay, no problem. Nicholas, you've not said anything since morning. Mr. Nicholas Tesla, I've not heard anything from you. Okay. Who else again? Let me go and look for names. Oreoluwa, Christiana. There's one guy I'm trying to look for, but I can't remember his name again.
My answer
Okay.
is C.
C. Okay. Okay, let us solve the question. Let's see those that are correct. So let us just learn. And look, in case you miss it, don't worry. Me too, when I was learning this thing those years ago, I missed many questions. I missed many simple questions. So missing questions is part of learning. So don't feel anyhow that you are missing it. Yes, it's part of learning. Okay, let's learn together. They said X ratio Y is 3:5. Remember that I always say that this can mean division equal 3:5. So X is now equal to 12. So they gave you X to be 12. It means that wherever you see X, put 12. So I now have 12 over Y equal 3/5. My X now is 12 based on what they give me here. Okay, so since we know that, what do we now do? We will cross multiply. I'll cross multiply. So let's give that cross multiply. 3 times Y will give me 3Y. Because here I have 12 times 5. Then I'm looking for Y. I'll divide both sides by 3. Cancel, cancel. 3 here 1. 3 here will give me what? 3 and 12 is 4. Then my Y will be equal to 4 times 5. And what is 4 times 5? That's what? 20. Therefore, the answer is option C. Those that choose C are correct. So if you choose A and B, please check your mistakes here. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask before I move forward. Do you have a question? Have you gotten the concept? Have you gotten the concept? Okay. Now, the next thing that we are going to is, so endeavor is getting a solution there. What we are going to now is, how we can use ratio to share. Let us look at this question. Okay, let me put it on the next page. Okay, let me make it simple first. A sum of 420 naira is shared among among 3 children in the ratio 6:7:8. The largest share is dash. So you have a total sum of money. You have a total sum of money, and that sum of money that you have is okay, and that sum of money you have is 420 naira, and you want to share it among these 3 children. So who will get the largest share? Now pay attention. They ask you to find the largest share. That's the question. The person that will get the largest share is this person with the highest ratio. So therefore, I will say the largest share is equals to 8 is the largest person. So I'll say 8 divided by the total ratio, 6 plus 7 plus 8, then times the total sum of money. And what would this give me? 8 what is 6 plus 7 plus 8? That's 21. Then times 420. If you observe, so 21 here 1, 21 in 42, that will give me 2. Then you not put the 0 here. So what's 8 times 20? That's what? 160. That's 160. That's 160. That's what the largest person, the largest share will be. And as simple as that. As simple as that. Okay, so before I move to the next question, which is more tricky than this, please, do anyone have any question to ask? Or you have any slight issue? Let me know, please. If you don't have, you can react with emoji. I will see it from here. If you don't have any question, you can react with
I don't understand though.
Take this particular one.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. That's okay. Any other person? Okay, only maybe you can talk. I can hear you. Unmute yourself. Okay. Only maybe you have question?
No, don't worry, sir. You can go on.
Okay. Let me explain again. They said that a sum of money, 420 naira, is shared among 3 children in the ratio 6, 7, 8. They said the largest share is what? Pay attention. You see this ratio, 6 ratio 7 ratio 8. The largest, you see the smallest number is the person that collect the smallest share. The largest number is the person that collect the largest share. Why this 7 will collect more than 6 and less than 8? And just simple as it is. So at the beginning of this class, I don't know whether some people were not here. I was explaining how you can use ratio to share, but there's no problem. I can also understand from this question. To get anyone's share in this ratio, this is what we just do. We are just interested in knowing the amount that 8 will collect. So you now say that 8 divided by the total ratio is for you to add everything together. So you say 8 divided by the total ratio, then times the total sum of money that you want to share, and that's all. Then you just solve your calculation. Assuming they have to find the amount of money each of them will get. So to know the amount that 6 will get, you say 6 divided by the total ratio, then times 420, and that's it. That's for that. Okay, let's look at. I'm trying not to solve something that is too complex. I'm avoiding. Okay, let me just solve this only, then we move to the next topic. Oh, yeah, look at this. A sum of 50K was invested. A sum of 50,000 naira was invested by 2 partners in a project. Pardon? Wow. Which yielded 90K. The profit was shared in the ratio 3:5. They said the difference between the amounts received by the partners. If you can train yourself with this question on the exam day, your brain will have been so wide in your reasoning. That's just the advantage of solving questions like this. Okay, let's go. They said a sum of 50K was invested by 2 partners in a project, and that project brought this money in, yielded 90K, that's 90,000 naira. They said if the profit was shared in 3:5, How much? But that what's the difference between the amount received by the partners? Please pay maximum attention. I believe people have been doing business here very well, so you understand this thing very well. Even if you have not been doing business, see, we invested 50K and the business brought 90K. Who can tell me what's the profits that this business brought? Oh, yeah, who can tell us? Anyone? Olumide.
40K.
Wait. I'm calling the name. Olumide, tell us. I think I got that name. There's a particular guy I heard his voice one time. Olumide. Good. Wait. Adebanjo Olumide, is he? I will call any name at random. So to verify that in this class. Olumide Adebanjo, are you here? Wow. Look.
I'm here.
Yes, so what's the profits? Can you tell us?
Sorry, I'm not. I'll have to calculate it.
Okay, I said they invested 50,000 naira and the project now brought 90,000. So what was the profit? What did you say? I can't really hear. Let another person whose voice is audible tell us.
40,000.
40,000 naira, yes. So the
That's
profit
40,000.
yes, you just remove. It's just like you are selling market. You remove the amount that you used to start the business, then you know the amount you have made so far, and that is what 40,000 naira. So it's this 40,000 naira they are now sharing, and that's all. So they are sharing in this ratio. So look at the first partner. What's the first partner taking? It's very simple. Remember, the ratio of the first partner is 3. So the first partner will take 3 divided by the total ratio. What is the total ratio? Don't forget how we do it. The total ratio is 3 plus 5, and that's 8. Then times 40,000 naira. Also, the second partner will take which share? What is the second partner's ratio? 8. No, what's it? Sorry, not 8, 5. Because this is 3 ratio 5. Please, let me write this way. This 3 ratio 5. I'm coming. Let me write that in. This 3 ratio 5. This 3 ratio 5. So the second partner share is what? 5 divided by 8, then times 40,000 naira. So let's go. So 8 here 1, 8 and 40 is 5. So like half 5,000 naira. So 3 times 5 will give me 15. So this one here, this one give me 5,000 naira. Will now give me 25,000 naira. So now, Piat, hello. Anybody?
Sir,
Hello? Yes?
please, where do you see it?
Okay, pay attention. Remember, I told us this from the beginning. See, 3 ratio 5 is what I have. If I want to know the amount that this 3 will get, this first person will get, I'll say that 3 divided by the total ratio. So the total ratio is 3 plus 5, that's 8. That 8 is the total ratio. Okay? Is anyone talking? The voice is cracking. I can't hear. Hello? Please, do you get how we got the 8 now? The 8 is the total
Yes,
ratio. Exactly. The 8 is the total ratio. This 8 is the total ratio. Let me help you put it here. Ratio. So this is the total ratio. That's it. So don't add it together, and that's it. They said the question is what? What is the difference between the amount received by the partners? That is what the difference between the amount they receive. Remember, the difference means minus. So the difference in what they receive is what? The difference in what they receive is what? Just minus 25,000 minus 15,000, and that's what? 10,000 naira. That's 10,000 naira. That's 10,000 naira. Okay, so that is that for that. Hello, please, who is talking? Please help me mute yourself. Everybody, take this assignment. Take this assignment. Okay. Please help me mute yourself, everyone. Thank you. All right. This is the assignment. Please write this assignment down, or you can screenshot it on your phone, whichever way. I'll give you like some seconds to do this. Hey. Oh, no. All right, so we move on to the next topic, and that next topic is percentages. Everybody, percentage. But whenever you see percentage, it simply means that we are having a ratio whose denominator is 100. For example, if I have 5/100, this simply means 5%. It means that I have a ratio whose denominator is 100. The denominator is 100. Whenever you have something like this, you're having a percentage. And that is it. Whenever you have something that the denominator is 100, you're having what a percentage. So I can say percentage is what a ratio in which the denominator is 100. That's it. So it means that if I have 25/100, it means what 25%, and that's what it means. So pay attention. How do we change? I can say change the following to percentage. To percentages. Change the following to what? Percentages. Now look at this question. If I had to change 0.375 to percentage, what? To change 0.375 to percentage, you simply multiply by 100. To change something to percentage, you simply what? Multiply by what? 100. So multiply this by 100. What will be my answer? 37.5%. That's it. If you have something like 0.004 to percentage, what do? Multiply by 100, and that will give me what? Or that will give me 0.4%. If you multiply this by 100, you have what? 0.4. So that's how we change to what? To percentage. As simple as that. Okay, assuming you have question like this, that you have 5 whole number 1/4 to percentage. How do we do it? 5 number 1/4 to percentage. How do you do it? Firstly, change 5 number 1/4 to improper fraction. And how do we do that? Say 4 times 5 then plus 1. So 4 times 5 plus 1. So I have 4 times 5 is 20 plus 1, that's 21. That's 21/4. Hello, please let me meet yourself. So 4 times 5 is 20 plus 1, 21. So 21/4. So percentage, I multiply by what? 100. So for year 1, 4 in 100 will give me what? Will give me 25. If you multiply by 21, you will get, this is giving 25. This by 21 will give you 525. Altogether, and so on like that. Percentage. Anyway, that's that for that. If you have something like this, 1/8 to percentage, multiply by 100, and that will give me what? That will give me 12.5%. As simple as that, 12.5%. Fola Shayo, please mute yourself. Thanks. All right. So that's how to change something to percentage. Okay, look at a question like this. There are some tricky questions you could see on percentage. What are those questions? Look at this question. They will say, what percentage of 40 is 25? What percentage of 40 is 25? Look at the question. What percentage of 40 is 25? How do you solve this? Explanation. If you have this type of question, what percentage of A is B? Please pay attention. If they ask you what percentage of A is B, the answer is B/A times 100. Please take note of all these shortcuts. You could be doing any professional exam like SAT, GRE. This the pattern of question they ask. Mental math, not really you solving like that. You just need tricks. What percentage of A is B? So you bring that last number divided by the first number times 100. So similarly, let me use that question to solve it. Now pay attention. Assume this is your A. Assume this is your what? A. And this is your B. So how do I solve the question? So my answer will be what? B/A. That's 25/40. Then times 100. That's how we solve 25/40 times what? 100. So 0 cancels 0. 2 here to 2 here what? 5. So I have 25 times 5, then divided by 2. That will give me 62.5%. If you see this how to solve it. And how do you even verify if you are correct? That's another long journey. You don't need to verify. But if you want to verify, remember they said what percentage of 40 is 25? Give me a second. They said what percentage? They said what percentage of 40 is 25? It means that 62.5% of 40 is 25. See, do 62.5% of 40. You see that your answer will be 25. If you have a calculator, you can try it. Okay, 62.5 times 40 divided by 100. The answer will give you 25. So that shows that what it is correct. So that's how to do it. Okay, I want everyone to do this for me. See, everything is on your screen. You do this exercise. You do this. What percentage of 80 is 20. Yeah, everybody do this. What percentage of 80 is 20? Okay. I want to do this. If I've gotten your answer, if I sing like 2 people to tell me the answer, then you do the correction.
%25.
25.
25%.
25%. 25.
Nice one.
25%.
Nice one. Nice one. So just assume this is your what? A. Assume this is your A. Assume this is your B. So the formula is B over A times 100. That's 20 over 80 times 100. 0 cancels 0. 2 year 1, 2 year 4. 4 year 1, 4 in 100 is 25. So my answer is 25%. Correct. Nice. So let's move to another pattern of problem. So I've taken my time to just help you bring out different sort of problem that can be asked. Okay, let's look at this word problem. The monthly salary of a man increased from 2,700 naira, to 3,200 naira. Find the percentage increase. Find the percentage of increase. So that's the question. Solution. Everybody pay attention. How do we find percentage increase? It's very simple. Remember, see, this is the amount he was getting initially. This is the amount he was getting what initially. And this is the amount he got what finally. So how do we find what percentage? You say final minus initial divided by what? Initial. Then times 100. That's how we do it. That's how we find the percentage. So how do we do it? Now pay attention. What was the final amount you got? 3,200 minus the initial amount 22,700, then divided by the amount you got initially 2,700, then times what? 100. So if you minus this, you get that's 500. Yes, 500 divided by 2,700 times 100. 2 zeros, 2 zeros. 500 divided by 27. That will give you about 18.5%. Everybody, that's the percentage increase. That's the percentage increase. That's the percentage increase. So you just say final minus initial over initial, then times 100. That's it. So another form of question that percentage will come to you in disguise is what we refer to as the profit and loss. What we call what? Profit and loss. That's like another pattern of way. That is percentage they're asking you, but it will come in the pattern of what? Profit and loss. That's it. It will come in the pattern of profit and loss. And that's what we are doing now. After 1 minute. Okay, we move. Let's look at profit and loss. Profit and loss. Another word for profit is gain. Remember that when you do business, you always want to gain and not to lose. Now, there's a concept we call cost price and selling price. Because something cost price, and then because something was, let me say my cost price, I want to be denoting it as C, and we have selling price. Selling price is what? S. Now, whenever you make gain, something happen. Let me explain. Cost price is telling you the amount that, let me say I'm a trader, for example, I sell electronics. Cost price is the amount I got my electronics from, let me say I do order from China, from the wholesaler in China, or from the industry that produce from China. That, let me say I bought a goods worth of, let me say 1.2 million naira. So that's my what cost price. So the amount I'll now be selling it, that's my what selling price. As simple as that. The amount a trader got something cost price, but to another person that is what selling price. Okay, so if you observe that, let me say I bought a pen for 100 naira and I sold it for what 120 naira. What do we do here? You observe that there's a gain. That additional 20 naira is the profit. So this amount I got is my cost price, and this is my selling price. So profit is what? Selling price minus cost price. Selling price minus cost price. That is profit. But someone that make loss bought this thing, look at it, for 100 naira and sold it for, let me say 80 naira, or let me say 70 naira. So the person has made what? Loss of 30 naira. So to get loss, we say what? Cost price minus selling price. So we say when selling price is more than cost price, that's a gain. When cost price is more than selling price, that's a what? That's a loss. So, and as an economist, as a statistician, as a mathematician, you always want to what? Want to make profit. Okay, as simple as that. So how do we get percentage profits? My profit is what? Profit over cost price. This is profit over cost price times 100. Times 100. And percentage loss is equal to loss over cost price times 100. Loss over cost price times 100. Although I have some shorter way I solve these things without this formula. So whenever I'm solving, I'll teach you the shorter way. Because whenever you're writing an exam, you need short way and not long way. Okay, let's just solve some light questions. There are not much question though. I just want to look at simple and compound interest, then we call it a day. Okay. Let me just solve this question. A trader sold a crate of soft drinks for 300 naira and made a profit of 20%. I made a profit of 20% on the sale. So I have multiple questions here. They said, what is our cost price? And B, they said, let me stop with that, Risha. What would have been our percentage loss if she sold it for 225 naira? Solution. So what I gave in the question, let us read it. They said a trader sold a crate of soft drink for this. She sold that selling price and made a profit of 20%. So percentage profit is 20. So you have, this is percentage profit to not profit. No, they're not telling you that, what is our cost price. Let me use formula to make everything just soft. Now, remember, what's formula for percentage profit? Percentage profit is equals to profit, which is selling price minus cost price over cost price, then times 100. So let us put this our percentage profit formula. So we have percentage profit to be 20. So I'll put 20 equals to, what's my selling price? My selling price is 300 minus, I don't know my cost price. That's the question they ask you. So let me say my cost price is C divided by cost price is C. You see this times 100 in C. I can decide not to say times 100. If I put over 100 here, I don't need to say times 100 again, please. Or if you put times 100 here, or if you put times 100 here, you don't need to say over 100 here. But please, me, I love to say over 100. It is simpler to use that way. Yeah, now if you observe, 20 year one, 20 in this one will give me 5. So I have 1 over 5 here now. So what will you now do from here? You will now cross multiply. If you observe, C times 1 will give me what? C. Then equal to 5 times the whole of this. Don't forget, 5 will multiply those two numbers. 5 times 300 will give me 1,500 minus 5 times C will give me 5C. So from here, what do we do? Minus 5C will come here. You have C plus 5C equal 1,500. 1C plus 5C will give me 6C equal 1,500. I'm looking for C. I'll divide this by 6. Cancel. So what's my answer? If I say 1,500 divided by 6, what would that give me? That would give me 250. If you see, it makes sense. This is the person's cost price. This person wants cost price. And the person sold it for what? 300 now. 300 now. So that's a gain. That's nice. That's nice business. They now ask you a question that what would have been a percentage loss if she sold it for the now? They now give you another new selling price, that if the selling price was not 300 naira, if it was what? 225 naira, what would have been the percentage loss? Now pay attention. My cost price remained the same. That one cannot even change because you bought your goods already, 250 naira. Now they now give you the selling price to be what? 225 naira. And don't forget, check what is happening here. There will definitely be a loss. You bought something for 250 naira, you sold it for 225. Surely there's a loss. So now say what's the percentage loss? So formula for percentage loss is equals to what? Loss over cost price times 100. If we have accounting students here, in financial accounting, what we are doing here is related to this topic in accounting, margin and markup in accounting ratio, margin, markup, rate of stock turnover, and something like that. So you will see something like selling price or something like this. Okay, let's go. What is my cost price? 250 minus what is my selling price? 225 divided by what's my cost price? 250. Then multiply by what? 100. That's percentage. So let's go. What do we have here? You know, this will give me 25 divided by 250, then times 100. These are simple numbers. This will give me 10. 0 cancels 0. So my answer is what? 10%. So that's loss of 10%. So please learn how to divide without calculator. That's another thing entirely. I can't be teaching the divisions there. So to make the class too lengthy. So that's that on profit and loss. You always see this in exams, like usually come in exams, like a lot of exams. Most people should tell me jump a lot, even like everywhere. So you always see it, and that's that. Okay. So knowing this, let me see if I can give you an exercise, a very simple exercise. It will be simpler than this. Give me a second. Let me check something. Okay, look at this question. Oh, this is a question. This is a simple question. Don't worry, just take this as your normal assignment. No option for this. It's very simple. Please screenshot it on your phone, please. So screenshot it on your phone. Now, lastly, what we want to study lastly is now simple and compound interest. So after this class, we have finished everything about commercial stuff like arithmetic that you can be asked. Questions like that are what people can escape. People can't escape questions like that. It keeps occurring every year because they know students struggle with word problems like this. Okay. Okay. So, so move on. So let's first look at simple interest. Simple interest. You see this guy, simple interest. It's one of the easiest things ever I've seen. It's so easy in a way that even if you don't know math, you can get it. Trust me for that. So pay attention to what we call simple interest. You see this interest. Whenever you are involved in an investment or you are involved in in a loan, we always talk about interest a lot. Now pay attention. The amount you use for investment or the amount you are starting with, probably if you are saving money or you are investing money or you want to loan some particular amount of money. See the amount of money you are starting with, we call it principal. The amount of money you are starting with, we call it what? Principal. Take note of that. Now, the amount of time you will use, the amount of time for that investment to last, or the amount of time you will need to repay back to the loan, those stuff like that, we call it time. Just normal time. Time T. And then, the rates in the question is always given a percentage. So whenever you have this parameter, principal, time, and rates, how do we calculate simple interest? Let me give you one example. If you lend 100 naira from me, and I tell you that, you lend 100 naira on Wednesday, and I tell you that by the time I'll collect my money on Saturday, it's 150 I'll collect. So that 15 naira you added is what we call the interest. So PROT all over what? All over 100. That formula to calculate was simple interest. And pay attention. Simple interest is only calculated on one principal. And simple interest do not add up. It do not compound. It do not add up. We only calculate simple interest just on the initial principal I'm having. But I'll still come to compound interest. Just take note of that for simple interest. Simple interest is just the way it is simple. We don't like we calculate it just on that one money, on one principal. But compound interest is not like that. Now, and again, in simple interest, you can be asked to find amount. What does amount mean? Let me tell you what it means. Remember, I lent you 100 naira and you pay back 120 naira. Remember, this 120 naira, it has two parts. The 100 naira you borrowed, yes, you borrowed. The 100 naira you borrowed, and the 20 naira that was added. Okay. You see this 100 naira that is here. Is this my principal? That's the principal, P. This 20 naira that was added, that is my interest. Remember, I gave you 100 naira. By the time you'll be paying back to me, you will pay 120 to me, Abi. This whole of 120, we call it the amount. Therefore, in simple interest, how do we calculate amount? You see, amount equal to principal plus interest. So adding these two together, they give us this. That's how we calculate amount. As simple as that. These two formulae you need to know under what simple interest. Now let's go to compound interest. Well, for my viewers, we have compound interest here. The one I'll be doing is this simple aspect, but there are some other advanced aspect of this, but I will not be talking about it. I'll just tell you the normal one that you can encounter. Yes. Okay. Now pay attention to something on compound interest. This is it. Pay attention. Compound interest is not only calculated on the principal. Remember, simple interest is only calculated on principal, but compound interest is calculated on the principal and the interest end together. Let me give you one sweet example. See, let me see that you borrowed 500 naira from me, and then, we are giving you, let me say, 2% compound interest every year. Now pay attention. The first year, your interest to be this. You will see your interest to be this. 2 over 100 times 500. Your interest is 10 naira. It means that what at the end of first year you are paying 510. That's what you have here plus what you have here. That's 510. This is where compound interest will now change. By the time I want to get the interest at the second year, what will it be? It will be 2%. Remember that initially I was starting with 500 naira. So for the second year, my principal will have changed. My principal will no more be 500 naira again. It will now be this 510. I know that what this 510 was the principal and the interest you've earned. So don't let me go deeper into the explanation. That is just the compound interest. Compound interest, the interest is always calculated on the new principal. On the new principal, you don't just have one principal here. 500 was what you have initially. When they added your interest for you, you have a 510. So your new principal will not be 500 again. It will be this new 510. So that's what we call compound interest. Interest is compounding. Interest do not like your principal is not fixed in compound interest. But don't worry, I'll give you a formula to just bypass all this. Okay, I'll give you a formula to just bypass all this because there's no time to be analyzing in questions like this. All right, now pay attention. How do we calculate? Firstly, you need to know how to calculate amount in compound interest. To find amount in compound interest, we use this formula P bracket 1 plus rates over 100, then raised to power n. This is how we calculate amount in compound interest. A equal principal bracket 1 plus R is the rate over 100 n. This is how we calculate amount. Then how do we now calculate compound interest? Compound interest, CI. Did the formula that has to calculate it. Just say, okay, let me give a straightforward formula. Let me say, let me just give a straightforward formula. Just say P 1 plus R over N over 100 and then minus P. That is, what you have here is your amount, then minus principal. So compound interest here is what we are doing here is amount minus initial principal. That's compound interest. It's just this formula. It will save us stress of analyzing any question. You can just go straight and solve. Okay. Okay, let's solve problem. Let's solve problem. They said a simple interest on a sum of money invested at 4% for 4 years was 4,014 naira. How much was invested? Now, solution. Look at this question. A simple interest on a sum of money invested at 4% for 4 years was 14,014 naira. How much was invested? Now, they said a simple interest on this sum of money invested at 4%. This 4% is the rate. This is our time. And what we have here is the simple interest they are telling us. The simple interest is this. So simple interest is that's it, how much was invested. Don't forget when I was telling you something about principal. The principal is the amount that you invest, borrow, or that amount you are starting with. That's my principal. So I have simple interest equal P out C over 100. Simple interest is 40. They have to find the principal. I don't know. My rate is 4. That 4%, 4 over 100, this is over 100 here. So you need to put another over 100. Then times time. My time is 4 years. Then divided by 100. So what do we do here? We just, I have 4040 equal 4 times 4 is 16. That's 16p divided by 100. So from here, if I cross multiply, I have 16p equal to 4040 times 100. Then after you have done this, I'm looking for p. I'll divide both sides by 16. So therefore, my p will be equal to, if I check 4040 divided by 16. Okay. So after getting everything together, so you have 25,250 naira. That's the amount that was invested. How much was invested? So that's your principal. That's your principal. That's the principal. Find the amount. If the simple interest is paid on okay, let's solve this problem. Find the amount. If the simple interest is paid on this, so that's my principal, 34,320. The time is 5 years, and my rate is 6/1/4. Change that to improper fraction. So I have 4 times 624 plus 125. 35/4%. So you have to find amount. First, define your interest. PRC/100. Okay, so my principal is 34,320. My rate is what? 25/4. Then my time is 5 years. Then all over 100. See that you're over 100, you can do it like this. All over 100. So don't multiply with it because there will be a denominator. So let me just divide this through. If you divide this through by yourself, you'll be getting something like this. I'm coming. 34,320. So divided by 400. So this is your interest. Your interest is what? 10,725 naira. So they're not asking you to find amount. Don't forget what I told you about amount is in simple interest. In simple interest, what is amount? Amount is what? Principal plus interest. Don't forget, amount is principal plus interest. So yeah, I have my amount to be what? Principal plus interest. And my principal is 34,320, then plus 10,725. This is my principal. I have it here. This is my what? Interest that I just calculated. Then my simple interest, and this is it. So you now add it with, you add it with each other. So you should be getting 45,045. So that is it. 45,045. That is it. That's how to calculate that. And this is the end of simple interest. And lastly, I will not talk about, I've talked about compound interest. So I'll just solve one question on compound interest and we call it a day. I'll solve one question on compound interest and we call it a day. My last question on compound interest, I will call it what? A day. Okay, in compound interest, I will only be solving with formula only. I'll only be solving with formula only, and that's all. So they said the compound interest on 500 naira for 2 years at 6% per annum is dash. So this is the only question I'm solving on that. So let's go. So how do we calculate compound interest? Don't forget the formula. Compound interest is equals to P, 1 plus the rate over 100 N minus P. My P is 500 naira. That's the principal we want to calculate the compound interest on. Then plus 1 plus, my rate is always in percentage. 6/100. Now, N that you're having here means number of years. Your N means number of years. That is number of years. That is your time. That's what this N means. Some textbook, you see it as T. You can write it as T. There's no problem. So that's 2. then minus 500, which is my principal. What is this will give me 500. This will give me 1 plus 0.06 square minus 500. And that's 500, 1.06 square minus 500. So if you look at this, what my 1.06 square? So I have 500 times 1.06 all square. That will give me the, or if you don't want, you should be able to do this like without calculator, though. I believe in you guys that you can do it without calculator. So this all together that you're having here will give you 561.8, then minus 500. So if I remove 500 from it, that will give me Naira 61.8. That's my compound interest. So that is the end of today's class. So endeavor to also revise by yourself so that you will get the full concept. So from beginning of this class, we started with ratio and percentages. So we have done that. Profit and loss, we have done that. This one we have done it. So that's how we started, and we ended it this way. So that's that for that. So we meet in our next class. When are we even having each other next? When are we having it? Let me check the timetable, please. When are we having each other next? That's it, you'll be having, so this is, so that's till next week. By God's grace, till next week. So that's that for that. So take care, everyone. So I will download the note and to be sent across to you guys. So bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, sir. Bye-bye, sir.
Yes, I am.